Hello everyone, my name is Jason Gregerson. In this video I'm going to be assessing the technology tool of Mathematica. My goal here is that I use Mathematica at our university to create neat math stuff for our students. Our students are actually taught how to use Mathematica in calculus labs, so they have some exposure to it. So my thought was that I could take some of the manipulates I've created in Mathematica and embed them into a website. Mathematica seems to have this feature, as I recently found out. I also watched a recent video where they have a cloud deployment, so I wanted to explore that as the technology tool that I wanted to assess. So here's the basic setup of what I learned. I have something that I've built in Mathematica. It's this manipulate. It helps me talk about trig functions and the relations to the unit circle. So this is the piece that I want to embed into a website so people don't necessarily have to have Mathematica to visualize or talk about this. So what I do is I go to File and I export my CDF as a embeddable web piece. I continue here. I save my document, which I've already done over here. I can then choose either to have these files in the same directory as my web page or into a different directory. And whichever way I decide to do that, it will give me the HTML code to embed this. So what I've done is I've taken this code, and I've also taken those two files, and I have pasted them into my personal web page at www.123mathvids.com. And I threw those into my miscellaneous web page over here. And if we scroll down, I was able to get my embedded Mathematica document. So this actually does run right from the web page. So that was kind of stage one of me playing with the way to distribute this Mathematica content. The next thing I wanted to do was see if I could put it right into my LMS. So what I did was we're using Canvas at our university. So I went to Canvas and I tried to edit the page. And I went to my HTML editor here. And I took this content I pasted it in there. And unfortunately I didn't get anything to work. So that was where I ran into a problem. So that's kind of the quick version of the tool that I assessed. Now let's talk about the actual assessment. Alright, so if we go back to some of the ways we can assess from our video, I looked at the quick tool evaluation here, and because this is right into a web browser, it worked really well with many different operating systems. It was very robust, other than me putting it on my LMS. But just putting it onto a web page, because it is a web page, I could put an htaccess file in there and restrict the accessibility. So that was well done. I think it's kind of it doesn't have the fun factor. It's something neat they can play with, and it's really only limited by the creativity that I could bring to the actual Mathematica file. So different browsers, once again, good. It really ranks really well in all these different tool evaluation things. And even when I go farther down to the Sloan C Quality Framework, if we're using those assessment tools, it also seems to be relatively functional. Access, scale, student satisfaction, faculty satisfaction, and even learning effectiveness should all be top-notch for this usage. The problem, however, is if we started the basics. If I would have started with step one here, looked at the learning objective support, that's really, I think, the limitation of this tool. It's a neat tool. It was something I was curious about and really wanted to play with. But it's really a lot of extra work for not a whole lot of extra functionality. I can post this to a web page and they can see it, but specific at our university, we have a site license for Mathematica, so all our students have access to the actual software. So students can download that software. I can send them notebooks instead of posting this on a web page. And if I send them notebooks, they have more access to the direct code to actually play with. So it's neat, It's visual, but it's just not the most effective way for me to utilize these manipulates. Now, if I could get them into my LMS, that would be more useful, because then I could actually embed them into quiz questions. And that would be a real nice functionality, because I am looking at ways I can test students, allowing them to use Mathematica and these other resources, but still have enough control over what they are using to make sure I'm getting a good assessment. So, so those are kind of the ups and downs of this tool that I was able to play with. And that should be it. Thank you.